Good Sunday morning. Hello, it is March 19th, 2023. Welcome all of you in to the Daily Craig Sports Show. Hello. There's a good start. Nice cough because it is stinking cold outside. 20 degrees out right now. We're going to hit 35 later, 36, 37. But it is still stinking cold. Got some sort of a congestion fun thing going on this morning, but it's okay. We're going to try to get through the day and enjoy more basketball. But before we get there, how about Trey Turner and the Team USA baseball team? Struggle pitching, all kinds of stuff happening. Jose Altuve from Venezuela takes one right on the wrist. They think that it may be broken. That is not good news for Houston Astros or Major League Baseball because he's such an electric player. But Team USA, a grand slam by Trey Turner. They get the win. They move on. Basically, the great debate is going on right now of should these people, should these baseball players, these pros, should they be skipping the World Baseball Classic or should they be participating in it, skipping it to get ready for their regular season with their major league teams that pay them a lot of money. We've got USA and Cuba, Mexico and Japan. They play today, and then the final is going to be on Tuesday night. Actually, the USA plays today, Mexico, Japan plays tomorrow. The final is on Tuesday. So the great debate is, should these players be participating in the World Baseball Classic, or should they be hanging out at spring training, getting ready for the season? And when you see events like that, like last night, you see both sides of it, right? You see Jose Altuve get hit on the wrist, and at that point you say, yeah, maybe these guys shouldn't be playing. But then you see Trey Turner's grand slam, you see the celebration, you see how much excitement they have, and you think maybe they should be playing. So the debate is strong. It's going to continue. It's going to continue for the next couple of days at least. After that, the World Baseball Classic will kind of be forgotten about for a couple of years. It's a pretty fun event. We've watched quite a few of the games. We're getting ready for our season ourselves, so it's kind of getting everybody here in baseball mode. Kind of nice to watch some games. The spring training games are fun, but these are high stress, electric innings basically, and it is something that it's kind of cool to see, kind of fun to see, but. Then again, if I was an Astros fan, an Altuve fan, I would not be excited to see waiting for the results basically of the test today, because it does sound like he broke his wrist. So what a terrible thing that happened. I mean, the ball basically just poof. He was batting, one came inside, just hit him right on the wrist, perfect, and then there we go. So terrible situation, but the World Baseball Classic continues, and we'll see. How it does. There's 3 games left basically, so we'll see what happens there. Yesterday was a day of basketball. All day, the first set of games for the round of 32 for the NCAA tournament, March Madness, and we had some really good ones. We really did. We're going to start right at the beginning. Furman. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. I told you, I'm sorry. Got something going on here. But we'll fight through it. Furman had a great upset over Virginia, and they came back to earth against San Diego State. They hung out for a while. San Diego State was just too big. They could do anything they want offensively. Furman could not make any of the shots that they were making on whatever day that was, Thursday. So it was a quick and easy kind of game for San Diego State. They won big, and they move on to the Sweet 16. Duke and Tennessee. I'm surprised by this one. I'm happy being a Carolina fan, but Tennessee just kind of manhandled Duke. They took over. They were too physical from the very beginning. They just were knocking them out of the way, and even without their point guard, their offense ran really, really smooth. Whenever Duke would have a little mini run in the second half, Tennessee would counter. In that last 4 to 5 minutes, Tennessee just absolutely owned the game. So Tennessee moves on. They're in the Sweet 16. Duke goes home. This tournament is so weird because Duke had won, 10 in a row, 11 in a row. They looked really, really good. Tennessee has kind of floundered at the end with no point guard getting hurt. And here we are. Totally kind of a weird ending, I guess, to the season for Duke because they just went on such a run at the end and then they just kind of fall flat for 40 minutes. So Tennessee moves on. Arkansas and Kansas. I thought this was going to be an issue because there's no Bill Self at Kansas. That's a big deal. It's a big deal when your coach can't be there. Now, Arkansas played really, really well. This was a weird game because it was all of a sudden just like Kansas was kind of in charge, 8-point lead, 6-point lead, and then Arkansas just came storming back. And the last 3 minutes took like that time. Arkansas went from down a couple to up 3. Kansas scored. It was just really, really weird. But Arkansas gets the win. Another one, number 1 seed, gone. Arkansas moves into the Sweet 16. So good for that program. Princeton and Missouri. Princeton pretty much took charge early, led throughout. They won 78-63. They move on to the Sweet 16. Those kids were just absolutely loving the moment. It's awesome to see programs that don't really typically get there have this opportunity, and they just celebrate and enjoy it, and it was awesome. Those threes were continuing to hit, but man, the defense. Missouri was kind of predicted to get in there and bully them and man up and do everything, and they just could not do that. Princeton played tough. They played smart. Their defense was amazing, and their rebounding was just phenomenal against Missouri. So Princeton gets the win. They move on. Auburn and Houston. 27-point swing from halftime. Auburn was up by 10, and Houston won by 17. I have no idea what happened to Auburn in the second half. They looked like they decided just to not play basketball. They just thought that the game was over. They just forgot. Houston turned on the pressure. They turned on the movement, and they absolutely blew Auburn out in the second half. A 17-point win. The last 5 minutes, it was not really, it was closer than that, but it did not feel like it. So Houston, with a huge comeback, they move on. Another number 1 seed moving on. Actually, that was the first number 1 seed moving on. Penn State and Texas. Penn State stuck around early. They hung in. Texas is big and strong, and they looked really, really good, especially those last 4 or 5 minutes where they could kind of flex their muscles, get going with it. They won 71-66. Some of the shots from Penn State that have been falling for the last 2 months did not fall. So it was a little bit more difficult for them to get points, but they hung around, stayed close. Texas gets the win. They move on. Northwestern and UCLA. Northwestern just ran out of gas. They just ran out of bodies. They looked really, really, really good at the end of the first half, and in the second half, they made a run, even got the lead. They were hanging in. UCLA is super good. They are very talented, very deep, and that is the team. I didn't full bracket out, but if I did, I would have picked UCLA. I think they are solid, and they've moved on to the Sweet 16. A good run by Northwestern. They're getting to the point where they finished second in the Big Ten. They hung around with everybody. They gave UCLA all that they could handle. What a great season. A great season by Northwestern. Maryland and Alabama. Alabama throughout. Watching Maryland a lot here being in Big Ten country. Excuse me, I did not think that they were going to hang with them. They did not. Alabama is just too athletic, too long, too big. They get the win, and they move on. So 2 number 1 seeds out, Kansas and Purdue. 2 number 1 seeds moving on, Houston and Alabama. So we've got half the Sweet 16 set. Let's figure out who is going to be there today. Pittsburgh and Xavier. Pittsburgh looked really good the last couple games. They were part of the play-in first 4, and here they are. I like Xavier a lot. They were dead in the water to Kennesaw State, but they came back those last 5 minutes. They just took charge. Very, very smart basketball. Their defense and pressure stepped up. I anticipate them to do the pressure the entire game today, so we'll see how they react. Kentucky and Kansas State. This is a weird one. Kentucky is a 6 seed. Kansas State is a 3 seed, but Kentucky is a 2.5-point favorite. So this is going to be an interesting game. It kind of seemed like Kentucky got their sea legs last game. They started off a little slow, and then they just used that athleticism to run away. I'm picking Xavier in the first game. I'm actually going to pick Kentucky in this one. I think that the talent is going to win out. Kansas State is good. Their defense is strong, but I think Kentucky is too athletic. Marquette is the number 2 seed. Michigan State is a 7 seed. Marquette is the home team. Marquette is a 2.5-point favorite. Michigan State is up and down. You never kind of know what you're going to get, I feel like. I think Marquette is solid. I think that their defense pressure is going to make it miserable for Michigan State, so I pick Marquette. I think that they get the win, but it would not surprise me if Michigan State wins, right? They are very, very good in March. They know what to do. So we'll see what happens there, but I think Marquette wins. Here's another interesting one. St. Mary's in Connecticut. Nobody really knows anything about St. Mary's because they're on the West Coast. They're in Gonzaga's conference. They looked good the other day. Connecticut looked terrible, came back, got the win at the end. They're a 4-point favorite. I've seen Connecticut enough. They just, the last month have been kind of scary, kind of good and then bad. But I think that they get the job done. Their guard play is really, really good. So I think Connecticut gets the win. Creighton and Baylor. Creighton and Baylor. Baylor is a 1-point favorite, 3 versus 6. I think this is going to be a really good game. I really like Creighton a lot. I love their shooters. I love their perimeter defense. Baylor is big underneath, so it's going to kind of be what style plays out and wins. But I think Creighton gets the win here. Here's the one we've all been waiting for. Fairleigh Dickinson versus Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic's a 15.5-point favorite. That FDU team is scrappy. They've already won 2 games in the tournament. I love FAU, though. Dusty May is their coach. He's here from Indiana. I think they're really good. I think that they put FDU back kind of, not in their place, but they bring them back to reality. So I think FAU by 1 million. Here's another one here we're waiting for. Miami and IU. Miami's a 5 seed. IU's a 4 seed. A couple friends are asking me, what do you think about Miami? Because I saw them a lot from watching ACC with my Tar Heels. They're athletic and they're big. IU has got to man up here today. They've got to not be afraid to get in the lane. They cannot settle for jump shots. And they've got to rebound, for goodness sakes. They've got to rebound. Miami will get to the glass and they will get out and run. And they are big. They are big and strong and physical. And IU can do that. They can. But then we've seen games where, like, they played Iowa at home and they just kind of fell in a shell. They got pushed around the first 5 minutes and then they just never recovered. That can't happen. If they get pushed around early, this is over and it's Miami with a runaway. If IU can make some shots and be the aggressor, then they will get the win. They are good. I think they're the better team. But again, kind of like what we were talking about with Michigan State and UConn, they've been up and down. You never know what you're going to get when they get out there. So if this first 4 to 5 minutes is going to be huge. If you can see IU in there, being physical, taking charge, being the aggressor, then I think they get the job done. But if Miami is the one taking it to him, I think Miami can definitely get the win. TCU and Gonzaga. Gonzaga is a 4.5-point favorite. This is going to be a great game. TCU is really well coached by Jamie Dixon. This is not the best Gonzaga team out there. This is not the best team that you've seen. But they're really, really strong. Drew Timme is just, what a player he is. I would not be surprised if either team wins. I think TCU gets the job done. I think that their pressure is going to be too much. I don't think Gonzaga's got the guard play like they have in the past. So I think TCU gets the win. It's a 9:40 tip-off, 8:40 tip-off for our Hoosiers. So it's going to be a fun, full day of basketball. World Baseball Classic's going on as well. So who do we pick? We picked Xavier. We picked Kentucky. We picked Marquette, UConn, Creighton, FAU, IU, maybe, hopefully, and TCU. So that's who we picked today. That's it. There's not a ton going on in the world of football after the, let's see what time we've got. 7 p.m. on FS1 is the USA versus Cuba World Baseball Classic game. So mark your calendars and your schedule for that. In the world of NFL, former Rams defensive tackle Greg Gaines agreed to terms with the Bucs. The Lions are signing C.J. Moore, defensive back, was special teams. He was with Detroit. Now he's back with Detroit. Ashawn Robinson, the Rams defensive lineman, is going to be meeting the Giants. Let's take a look here. Oh, Jimmy G's officially with the Raiders. So yeah, not a ton of. Chicken Parm is back. Donald Parm Jr. They call him Chicken Parm in LA for the Chargers. Tight end, 2-year deal worth $2.65 million. So, interesting developments in the world of the NFL. Not much going on over the last couple of days, just because free agency kind of spiked there, and now there's not a ton going on here. Probably see some interesting stuff this week. Something just came across. So the Cowboys are in the process of trading for Texans receiver Brandon Cooks. So that's a big pickup for the Cowboys. Again, they don't have Zeke anymore, but we'll see who they do pick up to improve that team. So anyway, that's going to be it for us. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate you. Enjoy all the college basketball. Let me know. Comment below who you think is going to win. Make sure you check out the World Baseball Classic tonight. Let me know about that too. Are you pro World Baseball Classic or are you for? If you're an Astros fan, I guarantee you're against. But I think it's fun. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's interesting. Again, not a lot of my Cincinnati Reds were playing, so I kind of gotta, take it with a grain of salt. But it was exciting. Last night we were flipping back and forth. It was another thing to watch, and it was a good time. So anyway, we are going to get out of here and start our Sunday. Hopefully you have a great day too, and we will be back tomorrow. Enjoy the madness.